We appreciate you all of us joining us here today. My name is Marissa Pecoraro. I'm the in-person program coordinator for Huntington's Disease Youth Organization, also known as HDYO. We want to welcome you back to the HDYou Community Stories. This is a series dedicated to sharing the experiences and stories of people from the HD community for the HD community. And today we will be discussing HD in the holidays. This session will be hosted by our wonderful ambassador, Claudia. I want to pass it over to you, Claudia, and thank you for leading this conversation today.
Thank you, Marisa, and hi, everyone. Welcome back to HDYO Community Stories. Again, these are stories for the community, from the community. I'm Claudia. I'm an HDYO ambassador from Italy, and I'm also at risk for HD. Today, we're here with Emily, so thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. Emily, if you would like to start by introducing yourself a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So, hi, I'm Emily. I am from the UK. Yes, I'm also a HDYO ambassador, which I feel very privileged to be. Um, yeah, so I I've been aware of HD pretty much my entire life. My gran had it. Turns out I've now realised she was one of four siblings. Three of them passed with HD, although I didn't know any of the others. I now have my mum, who is she's under community palliative. She is 17 years in, which is mad, but she's still giggling away, which is amazing. And I myself have been tested, so I've come out negative, which I'm very grateful for. But as a lot of people know, it doesn't kind of end your end your relationship with HD. Far from it. And yeah, and I feel very happy to be here today to share some of my story, some of my experiences, and some what not to do with you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emily. And what has your experience been growing up with HD in your family?
It's been tricky. Well, obviously, anything anyone watching this will probably be like it was a breeze. Um, but I think I remember being must be about 7 or 8, something like that, and realizing what this was because I can remember being in my bedroom asking my mum, "Am I going to get sick? Are you going to get sick? All that kind of thing." Before I was 10, I remember having this conversation, and yeah, I think I was 13. Yeah, I was 13 when my mum got ill. So quick maths means I'm 30 now. It's been a long old time. I feel ancient. Anyway, but but it's it's tricky. It's very, very tricky to navigate being a teenager, to navigate being an adult, to try and build your own life, be your own person beyond just HD, but also feeling responsible and wanting to be there and caring, not just because you feel you have to, but because you want to. But then also then not letting that, like I said, define you, well, only as much as you want it to. Like I've just recently this summer I've moved away from home. I've moved away a couple of times before, and I'm now living with my fiance about just under 3 hours away from my mum, and it's been tricky. But this is part of growing up and living with HD. I had to decide, not decide, but you have to weigh it up. And I'm thinking, my mum won't want me to just be sat in a place I don't want to be anymore, just so that I'm there when she knows if she needs anything, if my dad needs anything, I'm on the first train, or my partner will drive me because I can't drive, and we'll be there. And actually, it's going right. This is the right step for me as an individual, not just what the disease has said or what I feel I should do or anything. This is the right, you know what I mean? So it's yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, I think, when you grow up with HD, especially, when you are young. But I think at any age it's hard to navigate. But we got to do it. We
Yeah.
get through it.
Yeah, and I really love the expression, being your own person, because we know that the family needs us and we need to be there in some way. But on the other way, we also need to be, our own person beside HD.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
And also, if you're living it away, there's always some time to find the family. And since this is the topic of this conversation, it's holidays. So, how to manage this particular time of the year? So, what role has HD played in your previous holidays?
Well,
Did it actually play the role?
um, not really. I think I do have some vague memories, I think, of going to kind of like my grand's nursing home and care home and things when I was little. But my mum, I'm quite well, I am fortunate for her that she's able to live at home. And we have a lot of care coming in, bless her. But it's nice. So we've still got our kind of we'll still have the Christmas tree at home and that kind of thing. Um, the big change really, I think, for my family happened over COVID, which I know obviously COVID wasn't good for anyone. It was terrible time. But I grew up in a church family. So for us, every year we would go not Sunday morning, sorry, Christmas morning, we'd be going to church service. And obviously with COVID, it all became online, which was fine. And it was, that was a really cool way to still be linked in. And then the following year, my dad, bless him, actually had COVID. So me and my mum stayed in and we watched it again because that was when these things were still being kind of put on online. And then actually since then, because of her health deteriorating, church has just not been an option for us on a Christmas morning anymore because she'll be soundo. Or by the time got up and done the meds and got dressed and all of these kind of things. So, but again, it's just adapting it. And actually, we've just done different things. Or like I know quite often, sadly, this will be my first Christmas, not actually with my mum, but we're going to do Christmas in January because it doesn't matter. But I know normally we've kind of got a new tradition. I'll have a cup of tea with my grandma, who probably would have slept over the night before. And we'll wait for mum to wake up and then we'll start the day then. It's just, like you say, it's not played like a defining role, but it's definitely changed how our Christmases look. Even things like preparing for Christmas and things and going like, because we'd all decorate the house together. And then it's suddenly gone, me and my brother will decorate the house. And then it's gone, mum may or may not be in the room when I decorate the house. You know what I mean? But again, it's just, we still want the house to be full of festive cheer. So if that means I do it on my own, or maybe do it on my own with a cheeky mulled wine, then that's what we do to be able to bring that joy into the house. But yeah, we've definitely had to adapt as we all do, but we've not kind of we've managed to avoid it being a point, if that makes sense. And even like Christmas dinner. So mum's now, she's been peg fed for a couple of years now. And but she'll still sit at the dinner table with us and, laugh at the fact that someone will probably fling a Brussels sprout across the room or something. But, but, we'll try and just make it not a thing as much as possible, even though it's very clear. But she doesn't need to be in another part of the room when we're all eating. She can still be part of all this festive fun, but we just have to adapt how we do things.
Yeah, I feel like adapting is the keyword for an HD family. Because you really just need to adapt. So, that's really nice that you managed to, kind of keep the traditions like decorating the house and having dinner, but just adapting them to, the actual situation that you were living. And this is actually really, really nice. And after I have one of my own, but I wanted to ask you if you have any funny or, I don't know, heartwarming stories from past holidays that when you think about still makes you smile.
I don't know. I think we've had a lot of silly Christmases. Like I can think literally just just last year, my dad, so my dad's brother, so my uncle, also came along to Christmas because he often does, and they they were playing with shaving foam and cream and all sorts, and it was just bonkers. And then next thing you know, like everyone, because my grandma, bless her, is also in a wheelchair, on my dad's side, so not the HD side. Everyone's just getting silly, and I was like, what is going on? Me and my mum are looking at each other going, has everyone here lost the plot? Like, why are we the only sensible ones? Like, it was crazy. But also from when I was little as well, I think I must have been a teenager, but we actually went skiing one year for Christmas. First time I've ever been abroad for Christmas. Actually, only time still I've been away for Christmas. But it was lovely. It was just the four of us, and we went skiing in Switzerland, I think. And again, mum, I don't think she'd had her diagnosis then, or if she did, it was about a year in. It was very, very early days or pre-symptoms. I can't quite remember. But yeah, we found out very quickly mum did not like skiing. And bless her, because me and her were the only ones that had never done it before. My dad and my brother had done it before, and I was there on the little baby slopes, and she tried it once. Like, no, I'm gonna be sitting in the cafe with a hot chocolate. So she'd come up the lifts with us, and then go sit in a cafe, and then we'd pick her up at the end. It was so funny, but bless her. But that was lovely. It was proper, like snowy Christmas that you see on Christmas cards and things like that. But no, that was lovely. That was really nice. And I know it's a slightly different one, but in terms of like kind of holiday festivities, not just Christmas, but these kind of moments, we've started a kind of new one for my mum's birthday, which is near where I'm from, is a massive rescue centre for monkeys called Monkey World. There is a documentary about it. But we started taking her there because she loves it. She loves animals. So pretty much every birthday now, we take her to Monkey World. I've actually sponsored a monkey for her so she can go see it. And I asked the lady who was the naughtiest monkey in the whole of Monkey World, because I said my mum is the cheekiest of everyone I know. So I have sponsored her the cheekiest of monkeys from Monkey World. But yeah,
super nice. My family is also a ski family, and we used to ski. I've
nice.
never had the chance to ski with my mom because she broke her knees while skiing with my sister, who is 10 years older than me. And then she got diagnosed, so I've never had the chance to actually ski with her. But she used to come and just eat and drink hot chocolate at the cafe, just looking at us.
Love that.
And, I wanted to ask you about traditions, but I wanted to add this. One of the main traditions of Christmas is doing the classic Christmas tree. And I used to decorate all my house with my mom. And I actually remember the last year that she made the tree. And I remember it because we set up the tree. I went to the kitchen to, I don't know, to drink or something. And she literally fell into the tree. And I found her. Well, the tree protected her, but I found her like hugging the tree on the floor.
Oh, bless
I
her.
still remember it to this day.
Oh,
It's
dear.
so funny. And yeah, speaking of traditions, are there any traditions that you kept, but I don't know, taking a new meaning over the years?
Trying to think. I don't know really. Like we've not really we don't really have many family traditions, to be honest with you. But it's sort of actually no, I lied. There is one. So where I'm from, they have a little Christmas market. And like there's a place called the Alpine Bar. Again, you can see a recurring theme of me and mulled wine. But but we every year, I think it must have been about maybe 6 years, 7 years. We go every single Christmas. Not literally the day, but it's open for about a month, I think, over that time. And yeah, it's usually myself, my mum, my dad, and my grandma, and now my fiance as well, which is amazing. And yeah, we all go. They have like Christmas tree wonderland, and we walk through it. Or I say walk. Me and my partner will usually we usually race wheelchairs. See who can push faster, me and mum or him and grandma. But yeah, and then we go and we all have a cheeky mulled wine at the end, which is lovely. And actually it's something really special because it wasn't there when I was a kid. So it's kind of not a forever one, but it's kind of, like I said, pretty somewhere between 5 and 10 years, I reckon. And every year we will find one evening or one late afternoon. And last year, I think we had to rearrange it about 3 or 4 times because I think I had flu, then grandma had a cold, and then it was raining. But we're like, we have to do. I think we went the last day it was open because we're like, we have to do it. It doesn't matter which date, but we have to go there. We have to have a cheeky mulled wine. We have to push the wheelchairs. We have to get the blanket stuck in the wheelchair wheel. Because is it really Christmas if the blanket doesn't get stuck in the wheelchair? Uh, is it even cold? And then having random members of public help you get the blanket out the wheelchair. It's all part of the Christmas cheer. But it's nice. But it's kind of become a tradition for us, which I absolutely love. And actually, that's where we got engaged last year. Was at the Christmas market, which was lovely. But yeah, so we'll definitely be visiting there again this year.
That's really nice. Well, creating these new traditions was also the engagement part. I'm a romantic person. I love these things. And by the way, I can recommend you. We bought it for my mom last year. We bought like a sort of a sleeping bag, but for wheelchairs.
I've heard
And
of these things.
also, we bought on a German website little skis for the wheelchair. You can mount
Okay, that's
them on the
amazing.
wheel, and you can go on the actual snow with the wheelchair.
That
It,
is mad.
it's amazing. It's one of the best thing that we bought, and my dad is super happy because he can ski. And while skiing, well, of course not on slopes, but he can push my mom, and it's so
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, again, adapting as an age,
Yeah,
we can do.
exactly.
Yeah, and not always everything goes as you expected. Like you were saying, we need to go, but we struggle to find the right time to do it, but we need to do that. And
Yeah,
so the next questions is, how do you manage the expectations, either yours or others during the holiday season? Things that people do or that you feel like you need to do, but sometimes HD plays a role in the picture and kind of make us again adapt.
that's a very good question. I think it's sort of with expectations, it's a really, really it's a really tricky one because I think especially when you're looking on social media and or even just on the phone, like chatting with your friends, not even, not strangers, just people you know and you love, and you think, oh, what a lovely family Christmas jumper picture. And you're like, Mum, if you could just keep still for a minute, if you could smile. No, I know that's a really silly example, but that kind of thing where you go now and again, you're like, that would just be really nice. Or like even this year, we're going, will she be awake through Christmas Day? Because she's sleeping a lot more now. Like I said, she is a lot more poorly. And I know, like, again, it sounds kind of sort of morbid, but not, but in the sense of adapting. And like I said, this year, it's just practically wise with work, with public transport, things like that is why I'm not able to go back. But I said to my dad, I know it's bad, but we can do Christmas in January because Christmas for my family isn't the 25th of December. It's us coming together, having food, maybe watching a movie or some crime mystery, something like that. And I went, the where my mum is at in her health, and sadly she's being hit quite hard by the dementia side of things now. She won't know that it isn't the 25th of December. Do you know what I mean? Like we can have that celebration whenever we want it. Like, and it's sort of like I said, it is sad. It is, and it will be hard. This was the first Christmas I've ever had where I won't be with my mum. But I'm like, but that doesn't mean we can still have our Christmas Day. But I mean, I think it's it's probably been about 7, 8 years since I started thinking this might be my last Christmas with her. And that's again, I think pretty much everyone in the HD community probably will face. And it's really hard, and because you want to make everything the best birthday, the best, well, I don't really do anything special for Easter, but the best Christmas, best like vacation holidays, the best everything, out of fear that it's the last one. And it's incredible when it's not. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like that's amazing, it's such a blessing, but it's also, it's quite draining, I think it's fair to say, because you try and pull out all the stops, which is, again, is good, and you make these beautiful memories and stuff. But again, when you're sort of, I know I've done that, I think it was about 2 years ago. I picked up some bits and bobs, some kind of like sensory things and some colouring things, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to do Christmas nails for mum, and then we're going to do, I mean, I'm terrible at painting nails, just FYI. That's not a brag. Bless her. She probably needs rescuing from my nail care. No, but also, I got a Christmas colouring book, and I thought we could do that together, because at that point she was weirdly into colouring. She's never liked art, but she went through a phase, and again, holding a pencil was a struggle, but she still kind of enjoyed giving it a whirl. And then we woke up that morning, and she was just, no, she didn't want to do it. She was tired. She was a bit grumpy, I think. But which again is not really in character, but you have to go, right, okay, I know I'd already adapted my plan for what Christmas could be, but even that expectation was too much. And it's kind of moments like that, I think, where you sort of go, just gonna make sure I don't swear. Oh, rats. This isn't, that they've got this beautiful one, or they've all gone out to the pub, but there is no way we would be able to cope with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still take mum out and about, like, and we've still went to a few pubs with her, but you know what I mean, it's that practical side of, they can just pop out, or they can just do that, or like I say, they've got an entire Facebook album full of beautiful pictures where everyone's face, makeup, hair, everything is exactly on point. And I'm not what's the word, like superficial in that sense, like as you can see from my own flat hair from the rain today, I'm not fussed on that side of things, but it's more, even if I wanted it, you have to deal with the fact you can't, it's not going to happen. And that bit, I think, is, yeah, that's the sucky bit. That's one of the sucky bits. But again, it's about just embracing it and going, well, what can we do? And we've started watching loads of Christmas movies. We were never Christmas movie type of people, especially like even me and my mum. Not really Christmassy movie people, not really Christmassy music, though I do love a cheeky bit of Michael Bublé. But now I've made it a thing. I will be like, right, me and mum are having a girls' night. Dad, go somewhere, and we're gonna watch loads of really rubbish Christmas films, because that's something we can now enjoy together. And even if she's not looking at the screen, she's staring at a wall, we're still in that moment together. And that's the thing. And it might not be going out to a salon and getting our hair done for a Christmas party. It's now in our pajamas watching Claws. But this is our time together to celebrate festivities. And like I say, it's the same with birthdays, it's the same with other special occasions. It's just sort of going, it's accepting it, I think. And that's easier said than done, because I still, 17 years in, I still sometimes go, well, obviously, like I said, planning a wedding and having to come to terms. I have bought my dress. It is beautiful. No, but I was able to take my mum, but she slept through the whole thing. And very blessed, she's got a fantastic carer that spends a lot of time with our family, and she was able to come with mum as well, so that if she needed to go or whatever. But she slept through all of it and then didn't actually look in my direction, even though I jumped into the like, hey, look at. But and that, like, things like that was hard, because I never thought she'd even be around for a moment like that. And it's a massive, I'll forever be grateful that I have a photo with her in that room, but I know she wasn't there in that moment. And it's sort of like you said, I have those memories, but I think I expected too much. And then it's going forward, and the, you know, like I said, the special occasions, the holiday seasons, these big moments, and it's going, right, there's what I want, there's what I hope, and there's what it will be. And some of them cross over and some of them don't link. And it's just finding peace with that and trying to accept what things could be achievable and what is dreamland. I know, sorry, it sounds really like pessimistic. I don't mean to sound so negative, but
it makes
sense. That's the reality of it, isn't it?
It makes sense. And I really liked what you said before. Like, we usually think about all the stuff that we cannot do, and that's what makes it difficult.
Yeah.
But we should start with, what can I do? You
Yeah,
know?
definitely.
And one thing I've learned is that nothing is going to be like the perfect with no flaws thing. But it's okay. It's okay. We're here and we can cherish this. And
100%.
also what you said, like Christmas, but all the holidays, it's not just the set date on the calendar, it's the moment that we come together, all together at once. And that's like what's the most important thing. You know, I can relate to that. It's kind of a little bit of bittersweet emotion, you know, you see the things that you know you cannot do in that way.
Yeah.
Things we need to do is concentrate on, how can I do it in my own HD way?
Yeah, and how can you have that feeling? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. So this is your next question. Is there something during these years of adapting that you've learned that helps you approach the holidays with more peace or more joy or more whatever you feel?
I think a big part is not putting too much pressure on yourself, or you know, not just you, but you know, like the your loved ones that are also providing care. Because I know that we've learned that, and I'm very blessed. I have an amazing family, and I know that there's been times where, again, like we've said, you see other people's one where everything's perfect, everything is out on the table at exactly the right time, and everyone gathers round, and just everything works like clockwork. And I imagine behind the scenes this probably doesn't look like that, but you know, that's what's portrayed. And actually, it's sort of, we've kind of, especially the last, like say the last maybe 4 or 5 years, probably like since COVID, not because of COVID, but since that kind of time, just because of where mum's now at with her health kind of since then, we've just had to go, right, do you know what? We're just gonna vibe. We're just gonna play the music, eat the food, watch the rubbish TV, probably have too many drinky poos, you know, that kind of but you know, but it's about not setting yourself up to fail, I think, is a part of it. And not putting so much stress. Like, I remember having this chat with my dad. I hope you won't mind me saying this, but we we have a terrible reputation as a family of never getting presents to people on time. Many people will vouch for this. I am terrible, but I say I learned it from the best. But we've sort of joked about it now, and I'm like, you know what? It'll be lovely if you'd like to give a gift. So just when you find something, just give it then. Because I know a few times me and my dad were getting quite stressed, just being like, I don't know what to get, haven't got time. Like, he was working, he's not anymore, but he was working. I work full time, and then obviously both care, obviously more so him because he lives there, but I was living there for a while. And it goes, do you know what? Stuff it. Let's hit up the Boxing Day sales. And let's get something that you want, or have a think about it. And when you know, I'll get you something in January. Because I'm like, why are we stressing so much? And it's taking away from the being together and the fun and the giggles. And like I said, we had a whale of a time the other day, last year, with like just food, like messing about a small food fight, one might say. And actually, that was the entertainment. That was, you know, it's fine, but that's what I remember. I don't remember what everyone was wearing or what time we ate or you know, whether the potatoes were perfection, I don't know. I remember as being silly. Like that's the thing. And I think, yeah, a big thing that we've learned, like I say, over the years is just don't put too much pressure on it. Just all of these events, parties, birthdays, Christmas, New Year's, whatever you celebrate, any other religious festivals, whatever people celebrate with their loved one with HD and with anyone else who might be there, just didn't be in the moment, enjoy the moment. And you know, if that person, like I've said, like with my wedding dress, yeah, she was physically there, but not there. But that is what it is. And actually, I will always have that memory that she was physically in the room. And again, it's all like if you are celebrating whatever festival or festivity, sorry, you're at, well, do you know what? Just try and be inclusive. Be there, make sure they know that they're loved, they're wanted there. And like I said, mum sits at the table with us for dinner in her wheelchair. She's not going to eat any of it. And I do feel bad sometimes. I'm like, oh, that must feel bad seeing a roast potato. So I do feel for her for that. So sorry, mum. But you know, but it's including people, being in the moment, and just being fun and knowing nothing's going to be perfect, like you said a moment ago, because perfect doesn't really exist, I don't think, in
it's
any
embracing
way.
the chaos.
Exactly.
Just embrace the chaos
That's a
and
great way of saying it.
go
Love
just
it.
adjust to everyone. And I can relate because also my mom, she's like she eats only blended food. Now I've became like super good at doing blended whatever, blended lasagna, blended fish, blended chips.
Oh,
I
that's
can
a nice
blend
blended fish.
basically everything. And so I usually try to make her kind of our own food, maybe a little bit
Yeah,
adjust. But it's there, we're not at a fancy restaurant with maybe we have paper, I don't know, paper forks or paper plates, but we are together, we are enjoying this
yeah,
moment, and that's what's
exactly,
important, and it's
exactly.
actually really nice. And I think a lot of people in the community can relate to this
Yeah.
adapting holidays that we're mentioning. And so, yeah, my next question is exactly about the HD community. So, how do you stay connected during this time, or do you prefer to kind of take a break for a bit and just enjoy your family time?
I think me personally, I tend to probably step back a little bit. It's kind of hard to say because, like, again, I imagine a lot of people, I can be a bit up and down with it all. Because sometimes I'm like super like love being involved, and other times I find it quite hard. And it generally tends to be the reflection on what's happening at that moment. So for example, at Christmas time, I'll probably my focus is more, like I said, being in the room, being in the moment. And sometimes I find it is tricky because you can find yourself, the risk I find is you can get overwhelmed by a lot of people who may, I'm trying to word it right, because it's like it's fine to struggle. That's the key bit. It's absolutely okay to find things difficult, but what's tricky is getting sucked into it. And then again, like I said, like going, yeah, you're right, we can't have that, or yeah, you're right, that is okay to have that bond and that communication. So I'm not saying anything negative about that, but as a personal level, I find at Christmas or these celebrations that I will find myself getting sucked into that mentality, and I don't want to. However, there are other times and places where I 100% need that, and I need to be open and raw with people about how I feel and what's going on. And equally, I will message people when I see that they're struggling and kind of try and be a support to them as well. But like you say, in terms of the actual holiday season, for me, because of that, I tend to take a slight step back. If someone reached out to me, it would be different. But that's the same, not just HD community, anyone. It doesn't matter to me if it's Christmas. If someone is needing support and help. I want to help, but I kind of, I don't know how to word it. I generally take a bit of a step back around that season, just to be in the moment.
Yeah, you're right. It's about what you feel like it's best for you, and if in those times you feel like prioritize your focus on your family, it's the best thing for you, then the HD community will understand because we are understanding and adaptive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one thing that I love about this community, the fact that you don't have to explain
Yeah,
if you need to take a
100%.
step back or if you need to, rest a bit, because it can go either way. You can have a
Yeah,
shitty day and seeing people having a good day and so feeling bad for yourself, or on the contrary, you can hear from people that are not having a really good experience on those days and you're having it, so you're like feeling kind of guilty. So it makes sense, that you'd like
yeah.
to prioritize that focus. It makes total sense.
And actually, I've just realized when you said that, it's a really good point, because I have had moments actually in the past where I have kind of, just because they logged in, I don't know what the right word is, but kind of tapped into the community over like literal Christmas Day. But it's been really heartwarming, and it's people sharing, visiting their loved one in a care home or their loved one at home, or, you know, they're sort of like you said, like blended Christmas turkey, or whatever, but sort of that light-hearted side of things. And that I somewhat retract my earlier statement, because that side of things is amazing and I love it. And I love, I think I've done that before where I've taken a silly Christmas filter picture with my mum and put it in one of these, in a chat or forum or whatever. And, and it makes everyone giggle. And that side of things I do think is beautiful. And again, it's sort of, if you think of a top tip and you go, oh, right, this year I've learned that this works really well, or if Brussels sprouts are too tricky to eat, try this, or, or try cooking like this, or, these kind of little tips I think are amazing. And that heartwarming stuff of look how beautiful of a time we're having. I love that side of things. It is just the risk of the negative side coming in. That's why I kind of have the stance I do. But actually, I'll probably will have a little cheeky little scroll at the beginning of Christmas, and will probably be very touched by all of the lovely, and the matching pajamas and the dogs dressed up as well, and all of this, which is just amazing. But it's kind of I think you just need to be aware that you will probably see both sides, and
Yeah.
to kind of in a sense protect yourself. If like I said, like I know I could be vulnerable, or especially on Christmas, to sort of go, oh, just doom and gloom. So that's why I will protect myself a bit and maybe back off. But I don't think that's not a one size fits all. Like some people, they need that space and they will need that company and that conversation. Other people will love just seeing all the joyful things. So it's just sort of, I think, preparing yourself that forums, chats, groups, like you say, that the HD community as a whole, everyone is going to have their own very different, unique experience. And some will be amazing and some will be really hard. And so it's just sort of preparing that if you're going to venture into that kind of communication with other people living with HD, that you could be ready for anything. Although again,
Yeah.
that is what we are all used to anyway, because we adapt and overcome. Sound like that,
Exactly. And, speaking about the community and people impacted, is there any advice that you would like to share with people impacted by HD that might be struggling during holiday time?
I think one is obviously like reach out to people if you are struggling, because it is normal, whatever normal is. But like that, it is hard. Like I said, you could probably even hear it in the way I spoke about going dress shopping. Like that's those things, and it's been what, like 4 months now. But it's don't feel bad for feeling bad, or for feeling stressed, or for maybe even feeling jealous. Because that's another thing, being like they get this and why can't I have that, in terms of moments and memories and stuff. So I think one tip would be, yeah, if you are struggling, do talk to someone about it. Like, especially, if there is someone that you trust and that, knows you. But also there's loads and loads of helplines around. I'm pretty sure there's some I think there's I don't know if there's a HDYO one. I'd imagine it probably is, yeah. And obviously there's loads and loads of forums. I know that each country tends to have their own charity as well. Obviously, like I know from the UK, there's things like Samaritans and Mind and stuff. If you're feeling like really, really struggling and you don't want to talk to someone is the key point there. If you want to talk to a stranger, there's loads and loads of support, because it does suck sometimes. And chances of everyone having like a beautiful Christmas season or festive season or whatever is probably unlikely. But that is also the truth for everyone, to be honest with you. Everyone in the world has their ups and downs with everything. So yeah, so the first bit would be, if you are struggling, yeah, reach out, get support, or just rant, whatever you need to do. And second bit I would say is, again, easier said than done, but try and look for the good things.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to find difficult things. And especially as it progresses, or if you're kind of in an uncertain place yourself, or because that's a big thing, isn't it? It's the uncertainty and whatever. And actually, hold on to the giggle that you got at the TV. Or like we've got loads, like my cat, bless her, she's gone now, but we have so many hilarious memories of her sitting on my mum's head. Like they had some weird like telepathic bond. It was very strange. It was beautiful. One day when my mum was still talking, she she told us not to change the TV station because Crystal was the name of the cat. Crystal liked that TV program and it would upset her if we changed the TV station. My mum didn't like the program. She said the cat did. It was strange. But point is, like I have these vivid memories, and yeah, actually she was in a really, really, really horrible, dark place at that time. But weirdly, the cat stepped up. The cat stepped up for her. But again, like that's the memories I hold on to. And actually I could list essays of worth of hard, hard moments in those few months. But the one I'm holding on to is the cat sprawling itself across my mum's head and her just chilling like it was normal. No, this is weird. This is weird thing is going on right now. So I think, yeah, it's just finding those moments.
Yeah, try to enjoy the time without
exactly
complaining and being jealous or just sad. If you're struggling, of course, you need to talk with someone or to do whatever you feel like it's good for you. But also try to remember that all those energies, you could focus them on the person you love, on the situation, on the family, on the giggles, and on the fun part of this.
100%, 100%. Find some silly hats. Put silly hats on there. Well, one year my dad got us fake moustaches. So we've got I don't know why. It was very strange, but it was funny. But again, like I've got loads of pictures of us all just with moustaches. I don't know why, but it was funny. It was funny.
Yeah. Last year we tried to do the matching pajama picture, and it's a blurred picture. My mom is not smiling. My eyes are closed. Like we're all on the sofa, and it's not a good Instagram picture. But it's so nice because we took like 20 minutes to take that picture. But we were all together, with our cute little pajamas. And actually, we still wear them every day. So sometimes we get to breakfast and we look at each other and we all are wearing the same pajama. So yeah, try to hold on to good moments.
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't know, Emily, if you have any last thoughts, inspirational quotes, tips, whatever.
I definitely don't have any inspirational quotes. I'm not very philosophical, but no, I think it really is just take each day as it comes. Like things are tricky, but you just need to take it one step at a time. Look after yourself, look after your well-being, especially in holiday season when there is so much flooding especially our phones, but also just the world around us, about what is meant to be perfect, what this should look like, what that should be like, who should be at your table, who shouldn't, all this sort of stuff. Just focus on your health, your well-being, your happiness, as well as obviously the people that you care and you love for. No, I said the wrong round, that you love and care for. Yeah, I think that would just, and like we've said throughout this chat, like it's just enjoy it, look for the good, because sometimes you have to look for it. Other times it's abundantly obvious because everything is just a fantastic day. But other days you do have to look for it. But it is there. There is always something you can find. But yeah, so look after yourself and search for the good. That will be my top tips for holiday season, I think.
Thank you. Thank you, really, Emily, for being here, for sharing your stories, your experience. And thank you all for listening to us and for watching this video. Remember, if you need to talk, if you want support, you can find us at hdyu.org. And we'll see you in the next HDYU video.